Hey guys, it's your girl Abriah, Serenity. I'm back at you with another video. You guys, let me tell you about this experience that I had the other day. I've been away. I took a trip before the school year started. Then I've been trying to get my kids ready for school. And then I got other stuff going on. And I've been so busy. But the Lord gave me this experience that helped explain why some of us have been waiting so long for things to come to pass. Like, I didn't really understand it in the moment. I just thought it was just one of those things. But sometimes the Lord allows me to experience certain things in everyday life, and he speaks to me through those examples. So I had to go somewhere to get some documents verified. And I go to this place and I get there super early. And I get there and they're like, it doesn't open until 9, even though I was not aware that they were going to open at 9. So I stayed in there from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., right? I showed up early. I was too early. And so then I got there on time just to see that there was a super long line outside the door. What I was going there to do should have only taken 5 to 10 minutes. So I said, okay, you know what? The line's going to move fast. No big deal. If we're all here for the same thing, I'm not worried about being here too long. But what should have taken 5 to 10 minutes ended up taking 2.5 hours. Again, what should have taken 5 to 10 minutes ended up taking 2.5 hours. Mind you, I have my child with me. I'm standing outside in the sun. It's hot. I kind of just threw something on. I took a shower, but I just threw something on. I was outside uncomfortable. I had on these most uncomfortable shoes. And I was just standing out there just waiting for my turn to get to the lady to stamp a piece of paper. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how much longer are we going to be in this line? I hadn't eaten anything. My child hadn't eaten anything. I thought we were just going to be in and out. I had stuff to do. I was kind of just like, man. So I was standing in the line. 30 minutes passed, and then an hour passed, and then another hour passes. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm getting lightheaded. I'm starting to get headaches. I'm starting to get super hungry. I'm starting to feel like my legs are going to collapse because I'm literally standing for 2.5 hours with no sitting down, no chairs, no water, no nothing, no food in my stomach. I'm like, Lord, I feel like I'm going to pass out. People in the line started to get angry. They're lashing out because they don't understand what the holdup is. They're like, this should not take this long. You guys had all this time to prepare for this day. Why are we in this line so long? Like, we've been here for 2 hours. And people are yelling. They're like, this is ridiculous. Some people are walking out. Some people are leaving. Other people are just kind of complaining. And we're asking each other, like, what are you here for? What are you here for? What are you here for? And I'm like, I'm just here for this. It shouldn't be that long. It's taking me forever to get to the front. It's just taking me forever to get to the front. So I'm just standing there like weary, and I tell my child, I say, hey, go sit down while I finish this because I don't know how much longer we're going to be here. And my child is like, I'm hungry. How much longer is this going to take? And I'm like, baby, I don't know. They're taking a long time. Just go sit down and play. I don't know how much longer this is going to take. So finally, I get closer to the front of the line and I realize there's only one woman working the desk. It's only one woman at the desk, y'all. One. And I'm like, oh, that explains why it's been taking so long. There's only one woman in here handling all these people. And so I said, okay, well, that makes more sense. But even then I was like, well, if there's one woman doing a 4-person job, but this job only takes 5 to 10 minutes, it still shouldn't take her that long or us that long to get through the line. So I'm like, oh, something else is going on. But I was like, whatever, Lord, I'll just stand here. But I told the Lord, I said, Lord, I don't know if I can keep standing. I feel like I'm going to pass out if I stand here any longer. Like, I need some water. I need some of my stomach. It's been hot outside. They didn't offer us no shade. It was hot in the area we was in. I'm like, Lord, I need to go. I said, Lord, if you don't have somebody come out here right now, I'm going to step out of this line because if not, I'm going to pass out. And I finally get a little even more closer. And I realized that the line is taking so long because the people in front of me were not prepared. It was being held up so long because the people in front of me were not prepared. And so the lady's asking them for these documents. She's asking them for the things they were supposed to show up with. They don't have it. They don't know what she's talking about. They're like, oh, we don't have this. We don't have that. We just showed up because this is where we were told we were supposed to be. We didn't do anything we were supposed to do before we came. We just showed up and we just thought that you were going to help us figure it out. And so those people were holding up the line. And I said, So not only is there only one person doing a 4-person job. We have a ton of people ahead of us who were ill prepared, did not do what they were supposed to do before they came, who were being a hindrance to the lady who was doing her job, a hindrance to themselves, and a hindrance to all the people who were standing behind them. And so I said, oh, this is starting to make sense. And then we were reaching out to other people like, hey, could you find somebody to help? Could you send some help? This lady needs some help. You know, there's too many people in here who didn't have their paperwork together, and now everybody else is being held up. We've been here for 2 hours, but what we need done only takes 5 minutes. And she's like, oh, I can't help you. I don't have anybody to help. And then all of a sudden, just when I was about to give up, just when I was about to get out of that line, I said, you know what? I will come back tomorrow. Somebody comes out. Somebody comes out of nowhere and they say, hey, if you have these documents and you have this confirmation email, you can step out of the line and go forward. You can step out of the line and go forward. And I said, what's the email? She said, it should look like this. And I had that email. And she said, so you did everything before you came? I said, yes, I did. I just need this stamp so I can go. And she said, okay, you, and y'all can get out of the line and go. Y'all can just go. So we had stood there for 2.5 hours in a line full of people who were not prepared. A lot of people who didn't even do what they were supposed to do or half did it before they got in the line. And there was only a select few of us who had been following instructions. A select few of us who actually came prepared. A select few of us who actually knew what we came here for, what we came here to do, and we knew how long it was supposed to take. Yet we were stuck in the line for 2.5 hours. And as soon as that lady said, you can get out of the line, we just took off. And literally we got our stamps and we left. We stood in the line for 2.5 hours. And somebody had to retrieve us. Somebody had to send for us to get us out of the line in order for us to go. And after we got out of the line, we just breezed on by. And that was it. And I kind of was like, oh, that was such a frustrating experience. But then after I got home, the Lord began to give me revelation about what I had just experienced at that place. So many of us have been in line and we've been waiting for something for a long time. Something that the Lord spoke to you specifically. It's not something that you just pulled out of the air. It's not something that you thought of yourself. It's not anything you desired for yourself. It was something the Lord specifically spoke to you and showed you. And you did everything that you were supposed to do. You have been following the steps. You have been following God. You have been doing what He's been telling you to do in the meantime. And now you have reached a point where you're growing weary. And I remember I posted a prophetic word where I was saying, you know, help is on the way, and to not let the enemy prevail, and to keep your hands lifted, and that the Lord was sending help. And a lot of you have gotten to this point in your walk where you're growing weary because you're like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and I'm barely hanging on, Jesus. I'm barely hanging on, and I've done everything right. And some of these things were supposed to have been happened by now, Lord. Some of these things were supposed to happen already. I know this to be true. I know because you spoke it to me. This was supposed to happen at this time. I was supposed to be exactly where I am, but these things are not happening. Why am I still here? Why am I still in this line? Some of you have been waiting for months. Something that should have taken days. Something that should have taken a week. You've been waiting for months. Some of you have been waiting for years for some of these things to come to pass, and you're like, what is going on? Whatever that thing may be for you, you know that it should not have taken so long. You're like, this should not have taken so long. What is going on? What is the holdup? I should not be in this line. I came into this line in obedience, and I did everything I was supposed to do before I got in this line. I shouldn't have been here this long. I shouldn't have been in this line with everybody else. Some of you have been watching other people go before you, and you're like, I don't understand. Not in jealousy, not comparison, but you're kind of just like, I don't get it. I don't get how this person got here before me, and I got here first. And some of you are kind of confused. You're like, this isn't making sense. Some of you are looking around and you don't see any doors. You don't see any windows. You see nothing. You're kind of just standing there and you're like, Lord, I need you to do something. I need you to do something. My legs were hurting in that line, y'all. I was getting tired of standing. Some of you are getting tired of standing for something. It's not even just marriage. This is not a prophetic word about marriage alone. Marriage could be included in this. But some of you are getting tired for standing for the fruit. Some of you are getting tired of standing for the miracle. Some of you are getting tired of standing in expectation that the Lord is going to deliver on his promises. Some of you are kind of like, God, if you don't do something, I'm about to go to the back of the line. I will try again. Some of you are having thoughts about your past. Some of you are thinking like, maybe I should just settle. Maybe I should just go back. Maybe I should try again. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I'm not in the right place. You're experiencing double-mindedness. You've been isolated. You've been abandoned. You've been standing on your own for a long time. And you're like, Lord, the only voice that I have is my pastor's, yours, and mine. What do you want me to do right now? And occasionally he'll send help. He'll send intercessors. He'll send people to cover you for a time. But for majority of the time, a lot of you have been in some form of isolation, being prepared for the next place. And you're growing weary. Okay? I wanted to walk out of that line. So I know a lot of you want to walk out. A lot of you want to just give up on something. There's something you want to give up on right now. And Jesus is saying, don't give up. The Lord is saying, hold on just a little while longer. He is sending help. I'm sending help. The Lord has been saying this to me for the last couple months. I am sending help. Help is on the way. I am sending somebody for you. Just hold on a little while longer. A little while longer. The Lord wants you to know he has not forgotten you. He has not forgotten the things that he has promised you. And you have been doing everything you were supposed to do. And he has not forgotten you. Some of you have been wanting change. Some of you have been standing in the same spot for so long and you're ready to go somewhere else, but you don't know where to go. You can't leave the spot you're in because you know that if you leave this spot, you forfeit something. You don't even know what you're getting ready to forfeit. You just know, I have to stay right here until the Lord opens the door. I have to stand right here until the Lord does something. I have to stand right here until something happens, because if I move, I forfeit something. If I move, other people are affected. You don't want to forfeit your blessings. You don't want to forfeit any opportunities, but you're like, Lord, I don't know how much longer I can hold these legs up. I don't know how much longer I can hold my arm up. I don't know how much longer I can go in my prayer closet and cry out and nothing happened. My faith is withering away because I'm not seeing the fruit. He said he knows that some of you are on your last dollar. He said he knows that some of you are on your last warning from your job. He said he knows that some of you are on your last month for your lease. And he knows that you're on 3 hours of sleep. And that some of these people out here are on your last nerve. Jesus knows. He knows. And he knows that a lot of you are saying, Lord, if you don't do something, I need you to do something. The Lord gave me a scripture in Matthew chapter 9, where it says, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Only one worker at that desk, and she had no help. So some of you need to be praying for the laborers. Some of you need to be praying for people who are going to help you. The laborers who need to be sent out, who need these divine connections, right? You need to be praying about the laborers. Pray for them and about them. Lord, any laborers you have sent out for me, let them not be held up. Let them find their way to me. Anybody you have sent out into the world to seek me out, who are seeking after me, I'm being sought out. Allow these people to find me. Don't allow me to get lost in the line with people who are unprepared. It's being held up because there is one person doing a 4-person job. Whether this is a job opportunity, some of you sent in an application and you're like, I haven't heard back from these people. They ain't seen it. There's not enough people looking at the applications and the process is being slowed down. People are getting laid off. There's a lot of things happening that we cannot see. You put in an application for a home, you ain't heard back, or you got denied, but you know the Lord told you that's where he wanted you to be. And then a couple weeks later, at the very last minute, they call you back and say, you know what? We approved you. The Lord is saying, have patience, because you don't know what's happening, but soon you will understand why you had to wait so long. There came a time when the lady came for me and I was able to get out of line. When I got closer, I was able to see what the holdup was. I was able to see why I was being held up. And in due time, a lot of you will get the opportunity to see why you were being held up. Okay? The line is being held up because the people in front of you are ill prepared. Is there somebody in your life right now that you're entertaining that is ill prepared? Is there somebody in your life right now that has been standing in front of you, that has been holding things up for you? Whether that be a family member, a romantic interest, whatever the case may be, is there somebody, are there people in front of you who are leading you, that are holding you up? Are there people in front of you that are not prepared? Are there people who are in front of you that should not be in front of you, that are blocking you from getting to the front? The prophetic word I released about counterfeits, how I was saying a lot of them are entitled. There are a lot of counterfeits. There are a lot of people out here who have jumped into positions they were not supposed to be in yet. There are some people in the line who found themselves in a position too soon, too early, in front of people who should have been before them. But in the time where you have been waiting, you have been pruned, you have been going through refinement, you have been refined, you have been prepared. So when the time does come for you to get out of the line, you will breeze on through. There will be acceleration because of all the things that you have endured, you have learned while you have stood in the line. People who are taking up space and time of people who are really doing the work of the Lord. There are people who are out here plowing. There are people who have been out here doing the work, blood, sweat, tears, losses after loss after loss, prune after prune, refinement after. Some of y'all have been going through what it seems to be a Job season, but not exactly like Job, because we have Jesus. And so we have been carried through by the strength of Jesus Christ, through Jesus Christ, to endure all the things we have gone through in these previous seasons as we have been refined. And a lot of suffering, not a lot of fruit, but we know we were putting in the work. We were plowing, we were serving, we were doing things. We know at some point we will see fruit. Some of you thought that you could work your way up to the line. Some of you thought, if I keep doing what I'm supposed to do, eventually I will get to the front and I will be rewarded. Some of you thought, if I keep doing what I'm supposed to do, eventually the Lord's going to throw me a cookie. Some of you thought that if I just do what I'm supposed to do, eventually I'll get to the front. But the Lord was like, the goal was never to get to the front to get ahead. The goal was to stand and wait for God. That's a word. The goal was never to get to the front of the line. The goal was to stand and wait for God to come and get you. The goal, the mission was to stand, do what you are supposed to do, even if you are not being rewarded, and wait for the Lord to send for you. And the Lord is not going to move people out of the way for you, because some of the people who are in the line need to be in the line. They're just ill prepared. Their process is not done. They still have to go through their process. But what he is getting ready to do is he's getting ready to separate people. He's sifting. He's not going to move people out of the way so you can go forward. No, what he's going to do is he's going to separate you. You experience this separation, there will be immediate acceleration and elevation. But first you must be separated. And in order for you to be separated, there is somebody the Lord has to send for you. There is somebody who is seeking you out. Some of them may not even know they are seeking you out, but they are looking for you. There is a laborer. There is somebody who is in need of you. There is somebody who is going to say, hey, I need you here. I need you here. Could you be here? Oh, just go on. I need you to get out of this line. I need you to go over here. But first you must be separated. This person, the minute the Holy Spirit intervenes and sends for you, you're going to experience immediate acceleration, immediate jobs, offers, immediate approvals. Declined, going to approved. Some of you got declined and they're going to say, oh, we made a mistake. You've been approved. We made a mistake. You can move in tomorrow. We made a mistake. We switched up the documents. We made an error. You don't have to put down a deposit. You've been approved. There's going to be so many of you who are going to be like, oh my goodness. All of a sudden, things on your credit removed. All of a sudden, marriage. All of a sudden, people approaching you. A person approaching you in due season. All of a sudden. When you're standing there weak and weary and crying out to God and asking him to retrieve you, God, do something. He's going to come to you so swiftly with bread and water. And he will separate you, and you will accelerate, and you will elevate, and you will find yourself exactly where he needs you to be. And the process will be smooth because you followed all of his instructions in previous seasons. It won't be hastily. It won't be unorganized. It won't be stressful. It's going to be, you're going to breeze right on through. Right on through. You are going to get vindication. Something that you endured in previous seasons. All of a sudden, vindication is going to come. All of a sudden, justice. All of a sudden, things that you forgot about. Things that you just thought, I'm never going to see it in this life, are going to come back to you. And you're going to be like, oh my goodness. All of a sudden. All of a sudden. And you will see why you had to wait. Also, when I was in that situation, the Lord dropped in my mind, let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. If we do not give up. You cannot give up right now. There is a time where our bodies feel like it can't take no more. And that's exactly when we need to push. Some of you are getting ready to give birth. Some of you are birthing something in this hour. Some of you have been going through labor pain. Some of you are groaning. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm in so much pain. And you're getting ready to push. There is something you're giving birth to. Some of you are like, oh my goodness, I don't know. You are giving birth to something in the spirit. And you just gotta push. You gotta breathe through those contractions, and you gotta push. For at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And some of us thought 5-10 minutes ago was the proper time. But we have to remember we're on God's time, not our time. So even though what we believe should have taken 5 to 10 minutes, maybe there was a reason why it needed to be that long. Even though you didn't do anything wrong. There were things happening on the other side that you could not see. And in time, you will be able to see why things got held up. Also had me read the passage, Luke chapter 17, verses 7 through 10. And this is the easy to read version. But there's a specific verse number 9, where it says, the servant should not get any special thanks for doing his job. He is only doing what his master told him to do. Go back and read that entire passage to help make more sense of this. But the Lord was also relaying that people are getting in line expecting rewards for bare minimum work. Things that are expected. You're expected to go to church. You're expected to be kind. You're expected to tithe. You're expected to serve the people around you. You don't get cookies and rewards for that. That is what we're supposed, that's an everyday thing. But there are some people who think that because they do the bare minimum, they need to get in line to receive something. That the Lord owes them something. And the Lord is saying some of you have been expecting something that you should not be expecting due to entitlement. So there are servants who are getting in line to receive rewards for work they're supposed to do that they're not really getting rewarded for. Oh Lord, I helped this person last week, so I know the Lord gonna bless me for that. Oh, I was nice to that lady, so I know the Lord gonna give me some money for that. See, I got saved, so I know the Lord gonna give me millions. I got saved, I go to church, I'm nice, I help people, so I will be rewarded. And they think that every time they do something good, they deserve a reward. That they're being patted on the back. Good job, like a dog. And the Lord is saying, this is what you are supposed to do. You should find joy in serving. You should not be seeking rewards. You should not be serving or doing what I have told you to do or showing up to places with the intention to be rewarded for it. You should do it just because it's what you're supposed to do. But there are some people who have been entitled. Then you have others who are in line because the Lord told them to. The Lord told them they were to receive something to help them get to where the Lord needs them to be. There is a difference between standing because of purpose and standing due to entitlement. And there are many people who feel entitled when it comes to God and when it comes to things, when it comes to their walk. There's another prophetic word I'm getting ready to release about decentering ourselves. We are supposed to be Christ-centered. But what a lot of us do is we center ourselves and we try to find Christ in things that we want and things that we do and expect rewards. We also need to be constantly checking ourselves to make sure that we are not being entitled and that we're not walking in error and that we're constantly self-reflecting, because if we're not careful, we will find ourselves in a predicament where we're in the line, unprepared, in disobedience, in error, holding up other people and being a hindrance to ourselves and also the laborers. These people were ill-prepared, stepping into the line, not knowing what to do. He told these people who were not prepared that they were supposed to be there. But they failed to mention when they were supposed to be there, what they had to go through before they went, what they needed to have with them when they went, to give them divine instructions, to seek the Lord about more detailed instructions about what they're supposed to be doing and discernment of when to show up and where to be. They received instruction from somebody and ran with it, and therefore got into a line before it was their time. Not consecrate themselves. The people who gave them this instruction or just told them to show up didn't really consider the details. And we have a lot of that going on right now. A lot of vague prophecies, a lot of vague messages. You're going to be a millionaire. You're going to get a mansion. You're going to get a husband. You're going to get a wife. You get a wife. You get a wife. You get a husband. You get a husband. No details. Just vague. Just hope. Just hope with no direction. No wisdom, no discernment. Not telling them what to look out for. Not telling them what they need to be doing on the in-between time. Not telling them to seek the Lord about their process and how he's going to get them there. Just them expecting it for it to happen through what? Bitcoin? Not mentioning that you're going to be a millionaire because there's an idea that you have that you need to give birth to. And there's a process that you need to go through. And refinement that you need to go through before you even step into the line. Have a line that has become oversaturated with entitled people who skip steps and somehow found themselves in positions they were not supposed to be in, or were in positions too long before it was their time, or weren't supposed to be in at all. Supposed to keep moving, but a lot of entitled, unrefined, and ill-prepared people showed up to the right place doing the wrong things. People who refuse to be refined or allow the Holy Spirit to remove impurities so you can do what you have been called to do effectively. Okay? There are a lot of people who have not been allowing the Holy Spirit to work in them, to do a work in them. There was something I put on TikTok not too long ago where I was saying that people want to prophesy, people want to teach, people want to do this, but they don't want to go through the refiner's fire. They don't want to go through refinement. They don't want to receive instruction. They can't handle rebuke. They don't want anybody over them. They don't want anybody instructing them. They don't want to listen to the elders. And they don't want to listen to the people younger. They kind of want to do, the Holy Spirit is their teacher, and that's the only person they want to listen to. And they're not 100% sure if that's even who they're listening to. Not even just with prophetic voices, but also just people in general. Everyday life. They don't want to listen to nobody older. They don't want to listen to anybody younger. They're stubborn. They want to do things their own way. So we have this oversaturated line, this oversaturated marketplace of people who are ill-prepared. And so the laborers are struggling to sift through the line to find the people that the Lord needs them to find. And so you need to be praying. You need to be praying for the laborers. You need to be praying for the intercessors. You need to be praying for the people the Lord is sending out into the marketplace that is oversaturated right now. You need to be praying for the husbands that are out in the marketplace that is oversaturated with ill-prepared wives right now. You need to be praying for the women who are in the marketplace searching, waiting, discerning who their husband is in an oversaturated market right now. Where is my husband? Where is my wife? Where is my job? Where is my house? Where is my car? It is trying to find its way to you in an oversaturated place. And a lot of you are growing weary because you've been having to stand in place, because the Lord is like, if you move around, you'll get lost. I don't need you to go back in the line. I need you to just stay right there, because I have somebody coming for you. Just stay where you are and hold on to me and hold on to my words. Hold on to me. Focus on me. Meditate on my word. Focus on me. Meditate on my word. I have not forgotten you. Thus says the Lord. Feel his love for you in this hour. Know that you are weary, but he knows. He knows. He knows. Do not grow weary. For those of you who are on the other side of this, you've rushed into something too fast. You found yourself in a position where you're in the line and you're like, I'm not supposed to be here. I got myself into the situation now. I need to get out. I'm unprepared. I didn't follow his instruction. I moved too quickly. Ask the Lord to redirect you. Repent. Apologize. Make corrections. No, I wasn't supposed to be here. No, I wasn't supposed to be your wife. No, I'm not supposed to be your husband. No, I'm not supposed to be in this job. No, the Lord had me decline. No, the Lord is having me give up this place. I need to be redirected. It's okay to allow the Lord to redirect you. We all need chastening and redirection sometimes. But do not oversaturate the marketplace, because there are people who are standing in line weary because of hindrances. The Lord loves you. Jesus loves you. And soon you will understand why you have had to wait so long. He is sending help. And the moment when these people come, and the Lord said these people are going to come just in the nick of time. It's going to be, they just came at the perfect time. Just when you felt like giving up. Just when you felt like giving up. Just when you felt like forget it. Just when you felt like, I don't know what else to do. Just in the nick of time. Bread and water. Phone call. Pop-up. Email. Confirmation. Vindication. Proposal. Just in the nick of time. Apologies. Confessions. Just in the nick of time. Explanations in the nick of time. Understanding in the nick of peace in the nick of time. Healing. Some of you are waiting for healing in your body just in the nick of time. Understanding just in the nick of time. Strength just in the nick of time. It's coming. It's coming. The Lord knows. He knows so many of us have been standing and waiting for so many things. He knows. He said, just hold on to me. Hold on to me. Don't let go of my hand. Don't let go of my hand. So many of you, so many of us have been lonely waiting. Waiting on God. Like, God, I know I'm in isolation. God, I know I'm isolated, but I'd rather be isolated than be in the wrong place with the wrong people, doing the wrong things. I'll wait on you, Lord. I'll wait on you. And some of you just need to go into worship and just say, Lord, I'll wait on you. I'll wait on you, Lord. And just thank him for what he's already done. Some of you don't even know that it's already done. It just hasn't gotten to you yet. It's already done. It's already done. It just hasn't reached. It's already fulfilled. It's already done. It's already done. It just hasn't reached you yet. So go into your prayer closet, go into worship and just worship him and say thank you for all that you are getting ready to give, all the things that you've already done that I haven't even seen yet. Thank you for preserving me, for pruning me, for refining me in this season of isolation, in this season of preparation. Thank you. for delaying me during times where I felt like I need to be accelerated. Thank you for giving me perspective. Thank you for giving me this word of encouragement right now. Lord, thank you for acknowledging me, acknowledging that I am suffering. Thank you for letting me know, reminding me that you hear me, because he hears us. And just like that, sometimes I'll be going through something and I won't say nothing to nobody, and he'll send somebody just to speak a word, and he'll send somebody just to say exactly what I need them to say, and they won't even know that I spent the last night crying. They won't even know how many days I cried myself to sleep. They don't even know the days I struggled, and they just speak a word that'll confirm and give me the recharge that I need to face the day. He hears us, and sometimes he'll send people to drop us nuggets of encouragement as we stand. And let this video be a nugget for you today. He hears you. Know that soon you will understand why you had to wait so long. There's a lot of people holding up the line, and if there's somebody in your life, if there are people in your life who are holding you up, you have to be willing to release them. You have to be willing to separate yourself. You are being sought after. You are being sought after. And when you are sought after, when this opportunity reaches you, whenever this happens, you have to be willing to go. You have to be willing to leave. Go. Go. Just go. Just be willing to go. Don't even look, but just go. Just go. And don't say a word. Be encouraged. I'm hearing restoration. Restoration. Restoration on the brink. Some of you who have been standing for marriage restoration. On the brink. On the brink. Right on the brink. Tip of the iceberg. I see something getting ready to tip over. It's something that's getting ready to tip. Something that's getting ready to tip over. Breakthrough. Be thanking the Lord. Y'all need to be worshiping him. Because even though right now it looks oversaturated, it looks like the line's being held up, it looks like a lot of things, but a lot of you don't know why things have been held up. The Lord has not forgotten you. You did not hear incorrectly. You are not in the wrong place. You're just waiting. You're waiting on God. You're waiting on God. Some of you have done everything in your power. You've done everything in your own will to do something. And you're like, nothing I'm doing is progressing this. And the Lord is not going to allow you to do anything to move this forward, because the Lord does not want you to get credit for what he's getting ready to do, for what you're about to receive. He needs you to know this was him. He needs you to know. It's Abriah Serenity, and if you haven't already, click that like and subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any more uploads from me. I love you all with the love of the Lord, and I will see you guys next time.